Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Paul. It's been a long time since we have spoken on here. Last time I posted a video, I was still getting ready for CRNA school. I was finishing my last travel contract in California, and now I'm officially an SRNA. Finished my very first trimester of CRNA school. Wow, I can't believe how fast time has flown during this trimester. I started out early May and just finished it. I did learn quite a few things. It was a big life change. First of all, a massive shift mentally, and being a student again was a bit challenging. I'm going to share with you guys top 5 things I learned during this first trimester, and hopefully this will help you out if you are starting school soon, because the first trimester or semester can be the most difficult one just because you are forced to learn how to be a student again and all of the challenges that entails. The first thing I learned, this isn't news to anyone who has heard about what it's like to be in CRNA school, but you will come to find out that it is true that school will be your top priority. And I couldn't agree more when I started experiencing it myself. No matter how hard you try to balance your life when it comes to your family and loved ones, with your physical health, with exercising and social life, everything else that are very important to you, I'm telling you now that you're studying and getting good grades on your exams will be your absolute top priority. Everything else falls second to that because the pressure is really high in any CRNA program. Most programs will have a set passing rate for exams and the classes, but for our program, the passing rate for our classes by the end of the semester is 79.5%. When you only have a certain amount of tests or quizzes and a paper in your whole grade, it can be a little tricky once you start feeling like you aren't doing so hot in one of the classes or more. And when that pressure starts to rise, you get a little bit harder on yourself. You tend to focus more on your weaker classes because you want to make sure you get better grades on the next one. And it's just constant pressure that you have to do well on these exams, and you can't get a certain amount of answers wrong or you won't even get a B on the exam. So with that being said, you will spend most of your week studying and preparing for exams, listening to lectures that it took up almost every day of my week. And that was the hardest transition, going from a bedside ICU nurse and a travel nurse at that, going to just sitting here in my study area for every day of the week. Almost every day. We had one class in person out of the 5 classes we had to take this semester. A lot of time is spent on your own, or they're on Zoom or Teams meetings for the other classes. So you will quickly learn time management skills. I think the most valuable thing to me this semester was time. I definitely felt like I was on a time crunch each day. I allotted time for study and breaks and working out and sleep. It was not perfect at all. It was a trial and error experience for balancing burnout and getting good grades. But main thing is that you have to expect that your whole world will revolve around school, and you just have to plan accordingly. Get your family and loved ones and your friends prepared before you start the program, and let them know how busy and focused you're going to be in school, and you might not have time for them. Which brings us to the next thing I learned this trimester, and that is, this is your time to be selfish. When I say that, I mean you will be extremely stressed out, extremely tired, and your brain is gonna feel like mush by the end of the day, and burnout is real. You are gonna be very annoyed with small things, big things. You will come into situations where your loved ones or family and friends will ask you to go somewhere or do something with them, and you're gonna have to say no. which I know is very difficult, especially if you have a family or children, and it's easier said than done to say no to them and just say, I have to study, I'm sorry, I have a test, but I really have to make a good grade in this class. And you try to promise yourself this, that, I'm gonna try my best to study and get it done, and so I can spend time with them. But when you have that much on your plate, we were juggling 5 doctoral level classes this trimester, and they were very heavy science classes. It was just a ton of information. No matter how hard you try not to think about school when you are relaxing or having fun, it's hard to detach yourself because you're constantly thinking about it, constantly worried about the next thing you have to do. This kind of intertwines with my other lesson that I learned, and that is how to take care of yourself and prevent burnout. And that goes hand in hand with being selfish at this moment, because many of you may know that the journey of working as an ICU nurse, applying to schools, interviewing, and getting in is a long but rewarding process. But you worked extremely hard for each step of the way, and you're finally here, you're in a CRNA program, and you cannot afford to not give it your best shot. As an SRNA, you constantly have this fear that you may fail out or get kicked out because you fail a class. It is very scary thought that, often comes to your mind. That additional pressure definitely adds to that when you're taking a test and when you're studying and you're thinking, am I studying enough? Am I studying for the right thing for this test, this type of professor, the way they test on their exams? So it's a lot mentally. That can lead to burnout very quickly. As ICU nurses, you go through hell at the bedside. Each 12-hour shift, you make it through, your patient stays alive, but you put in the work and you are exhausted. But you clock out by the end of the day and you are done with the patient or those 2 patients, and you walk out, you have a good night's sleep, you forget about it and unwind. But in CRNA school, there's no clocking out. It's constantly studying for the next exam. And when that's over, you're immediately starting to study for the next one, or you're simultaneously studying for all of your classes at the same time. It is a lot to juggle, and it gets to you. No matter how good you are with managing stress, I thought I was pretty good with managing my stress and anxiety before school, and I think a lot of people in my class also agree that they never had anxiety before, and they said that they really felt it this trimester. So it can be inevitable just because of the time and pressure and just such a big life change. Like I said earlier, take this time to truly focus on yourself and your studies. Make sure that you are in the right headspace, your environment is conducive for learning, you have a very safe and comfortable home where you can go home to and sleep well and study well also. Make sure that you notice when you are on the edge of breaking down or you're extremely stressed out. What I found to be most helpful, and it was definitely a challenge, in the middle of the trimester where everything was the same every week, lectures, exams, quizzes, over and over again, I definitely reached my burnout point, and I had to force myself to make time just to relax, breathe, enjoy things that I used to enjoy doing, and take my mind off and detach completely from school. That took a lot of learning on how to do that. In the beginning of the semester, you still have so much energy. It's still so fresh. I was able to listen to lectures for hours, study. My mind was still so sharp. And by the middle of the semester, I definitely felt the stress and fatigue kicking in, and towards the end of the trimester, it just feels like you're getting beat up by exams, quizzes. Sometimes you do very well, sometimes you do okay, bad, and that can really affect you mentally, and it manifests physically. You have to be kind to yourself. Remind yourself how far you've come, and it's not easy getting this far into the journey. The application and interviewing process is difficult, but once you get into the real actual meat of the program, it's a different world and you have to be prepared for it. I am going to do a separate video just on how I handled my anxiety and stress, because I definitely had an experience this trimester, so watch out for that. I will be making a video on it because it is such a crucial part of your life and it definitely affected me in so many ways. So that video will be coming out shortly after this one. Another thing I learned is what you surround yourself with can truly affect you. When you're at a high stress environment already, no matter if you're alone in your study area studying all day or in class, since we saw our classmates one day out of the week for one class, all the energy and the stressors in your life can have a massive effect on you. My one tip for anyone starting school soon is try to get rid of as many stressors in your life as much as you can before you start school, because you do not want to deal with extra stressors on top of your busy schedule already. And that could be your housing situation, your car, your family, or people that you live with or interact with, your friends. It can all make a massive difference, and I definitely experienced that this trimester. I had to set boundaries with people. You need all the support and all the love in this program. You're not going to be the same person as you were when you started this. You are going to be this stressed out version of you. It really changes people. You have to communicate and explain that to your loved ones, whatever you're going through, and be nicer to other people who are also going through the same thing, because you don't know how much they're dealing with in their school life and personal life. Everyone is so different in our class. There's many different personalities, different energies. I did find myself feeling off, just not well, after spending time with very high-strung, high-energy, very high-stress individuals. If you need to make boundaries with people that are not on the same energy level as you or who bring you stress, you have all the right to take a break from them and step away and spend time by yourself. Like, if you need to study on your own and go through things by yourself first, that's completely fine. And when you are ready, reach out to your friends or classmates if you want to do a group study. It is all up to you. Always put yourself first. Do whatever it takes to keep your mental health intact, because there will be many types of people that you will meet, and main thing with me is if you are mean to me in any way, I will not be near you at all. I do not want to be your friend, period. And I honestly feel so much better knowing that I have less stress in my life. If that means making boundaries with people, you will thank yourself later. Feels very weird to establish boundaries, but when it's necessary, I urge you to do it. Your peace is the most priceless thing at this moment. The last thing I learned this semester, and this is something that you overlook when you are very stressed out and just exhausted, and that is enjoy the journey that you're in. It is such an amazing learning experience. I'm just really grateful that I'm in a program and I get to study what I'm truly passionate about. No matter how difficult or how long days drag on, how frustrating exams and professors and classes may be, at the end of the day, I'm still incredibly happy that I made it this far, and I am very proud of myself. And also to my fellow classmates and every other SRNA currently across the country. And honestly, no one truly understands what you're going through other than the people who are going through it with you and the other people who have already gone through it. So it's very hard to explain to people. Your loved ones will be there to support you and try to empathize, but they really have no idea about the extent of stress that you're in. They just won't understand. They will just tell you how smart and amazing you are because they think very highly of you. Everyone will tell you that you got this, but at the end of the day, you have to put in the work and believe in yourself that you can do this no matter how difficult it gets. You do have all the help. Everyone around you, your classmates, reach out and talk to them. People who truly care about you and love you will be there no matter what. I definitely hit my lowest point in the middle of this semester and I was completely stressed out, not myself, and people who genuinely really want to be with you will show up and they will love you unconditionally. If they don't, then you gotta let them go. Easy as that. It's easier said than done, but trust me on this that you are way stronger than you think you are. And if those people don't bring you peace, let them go. That's all I'm gonna say. And that is all of the lessons and tips that I have for this semester so far. Definitely was very challenging, but we made it through. I feel like I can breathe now. I hope this helped give an insight to the first trimester or semester of CRNA school. I will be putting out more videos soon, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!